Hey guys, welcome back to part two of our series here for competitive CS. Today we're going to look at how to expand on how to get data from a file. So the last time that we talked, we looked at this data like it was all on different lines, like this, if I can spell. So we had everything on different lines like that. And that's really easy because we can just use .next line, that scanner method, to get all those individually. But what if we're given, and this happens a lot, what if we're given the data and it's all on one line and it may be separated by something like a comma or something or anything really, right? So how can we do this? How can we get this data and get it separated? Because we don't want to grab banana cream pie with all the commas and everything. We just want the words banana, cream, and pie. Um, Super simple. If you've never done arrays before, this is going to look a little bit weird to you. What an array is simply a list. And so what the best way or the easiest way to get this data is going to be to create a list and then grab each item off the file and throw it into the list and process it from within the list. So what we're going to need to do is to create a list. If you'll see here, I have my basic setup already done. Like I said in the previous video, this is the template that you can use for 90% of these problems. I'm not saying they're all going to use them, but it shows up quite a bit. And so you have your file object, you have your scanner object, you've got this while loop that's going to progress through the entire file. And this is the part that's really going to change from problem to problem. You may not need this while loop, so I don't want you to think you're going to need that every time. We are going to use it this time though. But let's take it out for now and let's simply process one line right just as it is. So we're going to grab this banana cream pie without the commas. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create what's called a string array. Now, if we were just making just a standard array, we would do it like this. And we would tell it, hey, there's going to be 3 items in there. And so this is what a standard list would look like in Java if you've never seen one before. This is me declaring a list of strings. This list is going to be called ARR, and it's going to hold 3 different elements. Now, when we're in competition, we maybe more than likely don't know how many things are going to be on the line. They could have, a bunch of words. I don't know that there's going to be 3, right? Well, there's a handy dandy method that we can use to get these things off this file. And here's how we're going to use it. So this method that we're going to use is actually a string method. And so what we're going to do is we're going to grab the entire line off the file and then use a string method to throw everything inside the array. Actually, I'll leave that. So let's get the entire line off the file. I might call this line because it's going to be the line. Okay, that's going to grab that first line off the file, banana cream pie with the commas and everything. Okay, then we're going to create this string array and we're going to use a string method called .split. And what .split does is it will split the string based off of what's called a delimiter. A delimiter is going to be some kind of character that we specify, that we start saying, hey, this is where I want this thing to split off and throw these words into the array. And so here's what this would look like. Like I said, it's a string method, so we're going to type line here, .split, and you can see an explanation come up. If you wanted to read that on how it works or look this up later, you can. And there's a couple of different ways to use .split. I'm going to show you the basic way, like with a very basic delimiter. So what it takes in its parameter list is a string. And so it's going to take a string, and that string is going to tell it what the delimiter is or what it is that we want to split it off by. And so since these are separated by commas, we're going to throw a comma in there. And so everywhere it's going to look at line, which is going to contain, at this point, banana, comma, cream, comma, pie. And everywhere it sees a comma, it's going to stop and it's going to split that string off and throw it into the array. And let's print this array so that we can see it, right? An easy way to make a for loop in Eclipse is type FOR and do control space and then hit the down arrow, hit enter, and it'll write that for loop header for you. Don't tell my beginner Java kids that yet, though. I need them to try to write that on their own. So don't tell them that trick. And let's just print this array out so we can see what's happening. Bah! There we go. Okay, so apparently I didn't save the file. It's still got the 2 from the last program. So I'm not going to edit this video for that. So I'll just save the file. And now it's working as intended, right? So now we got banana, cream, and pie. Those are the 3 things in the array. What I want you to notice is the commas are gone. Whatever it is that I put in here for the delimiter, it does not get included in the array. Whenever it sees the comma, splits whatever was before it off, throws it into one of the elements in the array. So it's super simple to use. So if you've got anything that's separated by something on a single line, the best way to get it off of that file is going to be to use dot split, use a delimiter. If I have some spaces in here, simply add a space on the other side of the comma. If you don't, I believe it's going to add, sorry, I didn't save it again. I believe it's going to add adds an extra space in there. So if we want it to just get the words, just add that space in. And like I said, dot split works with literally anything. So if these are separated by Z's, like 3 Z's, just throw 3 Z's in here. Bam. Now, if they're separated by more than one thing, and this doesn't happen a lot, but let's say some of these are separated by commas and some of these are separated by pluses, right? Like a bunch of things. That's going to look a little bit different with dot split. We're going to put some brackets in here, and then we're going to add inside the brackets what it is we want it, like all the different things that it could, we may need it to split by. I think I put my parentheses in the wrong place. And so what this is called, I'm not going to go too much into it. This is called a regex. And so if you know what regex is, that's what this is. And it's just a combination of different symbols or characters that we want to include for the delimiters. And I left the spaces in there, so I might have space in there too. Let's see. Did it have spaces? Why did I not save it? There we go. There we go. Okay. So now anytime it finds a comma or a plus, it splits off. And so, yeah, the brackets are the thing. If we wanted to include a bunch of different characters or things that we wanted to eliminate by, just add the brackets in there and add them inside the brackets together, and that'll do that. If I wanted to grab the rest of what's on the file, so this is everything I needed, right? That's my algorithm that I needed to grab that line. So if I wanted to grab every line that's subsequent after that, if I could spell this morning, we're going to add back in that while input has next line that we had taken out originally. And now it should grab all of it. It'll grab every line. And of course, the things that you put inside here is going to change. The problems you're going to see are going to be a little more involved than just grab the line and print it out. So, you know, you're going to add whatever down here, whatever you're going to need to do to manipulate that data for the problem. But this is a great way to get data off of a file if it's separated by different things and it's on a single line. So I hope that that helps.